as a political tool in climate change. So welcome.
Thank you very much, Damaris. Thanks to everybody for giving me this opportunity. Thanks to UNEP. Thanks to all my colleagues. Thanks to Juliet for that wonderful presentation as well. A quick one, I'm from Nigeria. You mentioned I'm from Uganda. Yeah, I'm from Nigeria, from the West African side of the continent. Thanks to everybody. So quick one, I just want to raise this point that something about young people now is that if we are not begging to be part of the process, we want to be, we are not begging for you to bring us on the table. We're actually looking forward to make sure that we are part of the process. And the process I mean is the implementation strategy, the planning phase, the consultation phase, and the implementation phase. That is what the young people actually crying for when it comes to taking action on climate change and other related issues. So thank you very much once again. And I will be talking mostly on the issue of youth involvement in politics as a tool for climate action, which is one of the conversations that young people want to listen to, because when it comes to climate action, we notice that a lot of young people are doing fantastic work in their local entity, in their region, and making different consultation and contribution towards things that are going on. But what the political side of it is that when we make all these interventions, when we make all these implementations, how do we make sure that the government, the political leaders listen to our strategy or listen to our contributions? And like one of my mentors always say that we need to be innovative in our volunteerism. We need to be innovative in everything we do. And that is why we need to make our action, or we are making our actions as young people across Africa, to make sure that we implement strategy that can drive the political leaders, drive the government to make sure that they see the need to add us or to collaborate us in implementing all the strategies. Looking at the African Union Youth Charter that talks about 18 to 35, we still have some young people that are not part of this circle. Why? Because they don't have the opportunity to be engaged or to actually have their voice to be seen. But when we see the political scenes and we're able to, take charge, or we're able to be part of the political process, we're able to influence policies, we're able to be part of formation of laws, and we'll be able to also get ideas on how we can also drive those actions on ground. For example, in my country, earlier today, we're talking about the NDC implementation in my country. And one of the things that we are looking at, which was supported by the UK government in Nigeria, is to see how we can make sure that young people are actually part of the process, not only when it is getting to the end of the document, and that is when we are about to take action. And that is why you see that most of the things that we are looking at is how we can also add, and the government can be part of the climate education we are talking about by empowerment, awareness, public engagement, participation, and even capacity building. We also look for a way whereby our participation in political way of making sure the climate actions being implemented is to look at the climate and security targets that we are looking at our government is actually implementing in our country. And we also look at technology transfer. We are also working to make sure that in those sectors, in agriculture and green businesses, need to have more attention, because that is the only drive and source for young people to also make their stand in adding value to the political system. And we talk about climate migration, we talk about gender, and we also look at adaptation and the focusing on the climate financing, which is one of the biggest conversations that is going on along our NDC presently in the country. And looking at this and looking at the global, I'm actually explaining things that we are doing to engage the political system in Nigeria, because what we did today was to engage our Ministry of Environment to let them understand how young people need to take part of these processes, because political driven climate politics is everywhere now, where we have a lot of deniers, a lot of people that are also looking at, they are not believing in the output or in the contribution of what young people actually talking about. Looking at the post-COVID recovery, which is a very important conversation and it's an ambition of our NDC in Nigeria. We're also looking at the brief data review, the amount of work we are up that we can do as young people when we take part in political systems. And politics as a tool for climate action can also help us to drive our volunteerism act and to help us to see how we can understand the politics behind climate action and how we can also be part of it. And if you know, as the global view, about 42% mentioned children are vulnerable. They are the vulnerable groups. That's a global view. And how can we make sure that the children and youth are also part of the political system to make sure that we use this platform to drive conversation along the way? So for young people, I think politics is one of the, like my country, people always say that politics is a dirty game. It's a dirty game, but they are the ones that is driving the economy. They are the one that is, developing the policies, putting people together, stakeholders together to drive this policy. So how can we make sure that our climate change policy, our adaptation strategy, our mitigation strategy, we are part of it, and we'll be able to, when we are part of this, we'll be able to understand the political processes and how processes are being done and how we can involve ourselves in design, planning, content, implementation, and also processes that can make young people to understand the need for us to be part of this. And I'm not only talking about one sector, I'm focusing, and we are talking about those sectors that target on transportations, those sectors that target to oil and gas, sectors that target to agriculture, sectors that are looking into youth, Ministry of Youth, and other related sector, energy as well. And we're also looking at how we can start to stream our processes as young people into the implementation of the UNDP and this support program that they are talking about. These are the ways that government politicians will be able to understand that young people are also a driver of implementation, not only talking, not only advocacy, but implementation strategy. And I'm urging my young friends across Africa that politics is good. Politics is another way for us to make our stand, to make our contribution when it comes to make them to account and transparent in all the climate financing that we are getting to implement our strategy in Nigeria or in Africa. And we're also looking at youth engagement in most developing countries that are also things that we want to see. So I will end by saying that anything that is for young people and young people are not part of it, it's definitely not for young people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Olumide. You can actually hear the passion as